Detective Lucerne helping me. Wait till I tell my wife. Why would Claire Daly blackmail Ward Fowler?
That leaves us with Sid Daly.
It'll be a treasure to pill you, Mr. Lucerne. I'm sorry. A treasure to pill you?
Detective Lucerne has the highest rating in television. Sid and I have given you a show that has been a winner year in and year out. But Ward Fowler is the show.
Try to look pleasant, Ward. You're supposed to be pleased when you get a raise. How many times must I tell you that?
Do you enjoy insulting me, Claire? I know you sound like that show we did last August. The one where we tried to make the murderer sympathetic.
Oh, well, yes, that was because the blackmailer was so dictatorial and vicious.
Third inning already.
Yeah, I was held up in traffic, Ward. I'm sorry.
If you have something else to do, just let me know.
Oh, but I don't, honest. I've been looking forward to this game like crazy.
Good. One drink isn't gonna turn you into a pumpkin.
We're in trouble. Eberle's up. Automatic out.
What are you talking about? He's a good kid.
Swung on one strike, swung on a miss. He had his best grip at that one, but he swung through it. So we swing into the top of the fifth inning and roll.
Reed, I told you that...
Let's play it simple. No noise.
You, move around. Move around.
Only child.
Hold it! Oh. Walk to the door.
Ward? I know you. You're not the type.
Keep your hands up. Higher.
Well, this is one mess you're going to have to clean up for yourself. I am going to lower my hands now.
Mark, wake up. You're missing the game. Hey, how can you fall asleep? Beverly's got the count to 3 and 2. You just lost 10 big ones, fella. Pay up.
I'm sorry, Ward. Just a few minutes.
Here's a wallet, Lieutenant. Money's gone. Didn't bother with anything else.
This is about Claire, isn't it?
Yes, sir, yes, I'm afraid it is.
I heard about the shooting on the radio. I keep expecting her to walk in through the door. Exactly what time did it happen, Lieutenant?
Well, last night, sir, about 10 minutes to 9.
10 minutes to 9. God knows what I was doing.
You were watching a ball game with me.
I was.
Mrs. Daly was shot at a distance of 30 feet, and she was shot in the back. When Mrs. Daly tried to run, that's when he lost his cool. See, that's when he panicked and he shot her. But he hit her right in the heart, sir, and at a distance of 30 feet while she was running. Now, that's hard to do in a panic.
Somebody asking for me?
Oh, Sid, it's all right. This is Lieutenant Columbo from the police department. This is Claire's husband, Sid Daly. Sid, what can I tell you? You know how I felt about Claire, huh?
We're ready, Mr. Fowler.
Yeah, I'll be right there. Oh, we're hooked. I'm terribly sorry to have this happen in such a tense moment.
Mr. Fowler, we're ready.
I said I'll be there.
I'd better watch this, Lieutenant. Do you mind?
Yeah, you know, Ward is right. Time is my business, and I always know it. Oh, boy, am I hungover today. I'll be glad when this day's over. Hey, what time you got, Lieutenant?
11 o'clock on the dot.
Are you kidding? Jeez, I paid 1,000 smackers for this watch. I lost 5 minutes overnight.
Would you draw a circle back there, right around the area of the heart? Don't press too hard, sir. I don't want to ruin the coat.
Now what?
Now I drop my hands. Do you see what happened to that circle, sir? When I dropped my hands, the circle dropped too. Now, when I first saw Mrs. Daly's body, I noticed that she was wearing one of those tight-fitting dresses, and that the bullet hole in the dress was about an inch below the actual wound in her body, which meant that she had to be holding her hands up when she was shot. And she couldn't be running away, could she? No one runs for their lives with their hands straight up. So either she was walking with her hands straight up, or she was standing still with her hands straight up when the gunman shot her in the back.
You already know something. Where did you look?
Yes, sir.
Studio wardrobe department.
You got it in one, sir. That's absolutely amazing. You're right. The Parker and the ski mask. That's where they both came from.
And the gun?
Oh, come on, sir. You're putting me on. You know that guns don't come from the wardrobe department.
Of course. How stupid of me.
No, that's the prop department, sir, not the wardrobe department. How does a smart man like Lieutenant Lucerne make a mistake like that?
Because you're not talking to Lieutenant Lucerne at the moment, are you, Lieutenant? You're talking to Ward Fowler.
Well, what's the difference, sir?
The difference is Ward Fowler is under suspicion of murder. And a man under that kind of threat is apt to make mistakes. He's apt to get rattled.
Well, whoever said anything about Ward Fowler being under suspicion of murder?
Lieutenant Lucerne did.
Where did Mrs. Daly discover you, sir? That's something even my wife doesn't know. It doesn't say anything here in the bio. It doesn't even say whether Ward Fowler's your real name or not. And that's something any Lieutenant Lucerne fan would want to know.
Why don't we stop pretending that I'm brilliant and you're simple for one moment? I'm going to confide something. My real name, so help me, Charles Kipling, and you're the only one who knows that. Well, Charles Kipling was in a little bit of trouble when Claire first found him. Actually, I was doing theater in Toronto.
Just a couple of questions before my report on Sid Daly. It doesn't look like he could have done it, sir. He was with a girl, and she confirmed it.
I see. Have you by any chance checked with the Toronto police by now?
Yes. Yes, as a matter of fact, I have.
I thought maybe you had. And they told you...
They told me that Charles Kipling was an alias.
And that's when you decided to have Ward Fowler's fingerprints checked with the FBI?
That is absolutely right, sir. You're amazing. Yes, it turns out that Ward Fowler's real name is not Charles Kipling. It's John Schnelling. And he's not a Canadian. He's an American. And he went to Canada after he deserted during the Korean War. I mean, you know, he had an awful lot to conceal. Did you know that? For example, the Army unit that he deserted from was the artillery. He was an expert marksman. I checked on that, too.
He never told me that.
Ward Fowler denies having a motive. He won't admit to having means. And he can prove that he didn't have opportunity. So that leaves us with Sid Daly.
That's a great third act line, isn't it? That leaves us with Sid Daly.
Oh, one more thing, sir. We got something else on the gun. Did I mention that?
No, you didn't. What, Lieutenant?
A thread, sir.
From the parka?
No, sir. We haven't traced the garment from which the thread came from yet, sir.
Lieutenant, if I were you, I'd get a search warrant for all 4 people involved.
Yes, sir. That's just exactly what I've done, sir. In fact...
I would like to know, Lieutenant, the meaning of this.
Sid, please.
He asked me where you were, Lieutenant. I hope it's okay that I told him.
May I ask what this was all about?
There's the sweater. Match up with the thread?
I think so.
You see, the gun that killed your wife, sir, had a little piece of thread that got caught on the trigger. I'm afraid, sir, that thread came from this sweater.
Thread from my sweater?
Yes, sir, mohair. The lab said navy blue mohair, and I remember that was the color of the sweater that you were wearing the first day that I met you.
Bravo, Lieutenant. Even I didn't remember that.
Didn't you, sir? My goodness, that's funny. You see, because one of the reasons that I remembered the sweater was because you got hooked on it that day. Supposing Ward Fowler had planted that thread on the gun himself. Well, sir, supposing you. Supposing Lieutenant Lucerne was right. And Claire Daly was blackmailing you. Like in the TV show.
Lieutenant, I thought we agreed that I had what you called an ironclad alibi.
Airtight, sir. That's what we actually say. Yes, sir, but you know as well as I do that you could have rigged that alibi. And I always wondered, of course, how 2 drinks could have given Mark such a hangover. I figured it was phenobarbital. And then he would be out. And he'd be able to take the game and go over to Tony's and kill Claire and get home and then wake up Mark. And he would be disoriented and groggy and guilty about drinking. And when he saw the ball game on TV, and it looked just about the same as it did when he passed out, he'd be glad to assume he'd only been out for a minute or 2, instead of the hour and a half that had actually passed. And you changed his watch, didn't you? And then you changed it back to the right time after he was asleep. That was a mistake, sir. You shouldn't have set it to the correct time, because Mark always keeps his watch 5 minutes fast. And there's one other thing, sir. You're a crack shot.
Endlessly fascinating, Lieutenant. But as Lieutenant Lucerne would say, where there is no proof, there is no criminal. Fascinating, notwithstanding.
But I think, sir, I have the proof.
What proof? Lieutenant, there are no fingerprints on that gun. You said so yourself this morning. This has been a rather silly demonstration, Lieutenant.
Well, sir, you know that this gun was only used as a prop. So, of course, it was never filled with anything but blanks. That is, until you stole it, sir. And in order to kill Mrs. Daly, you had to remove the blanks and insert real bullets. There were no prints on the gun because you wiped the gun clean, sir. But there is a reason that the lab report took so long. You remembered to clean the gun. But you didn't remember to do the same thing with the bullets. Damn. Just one more thing.